According to YouTube statistics, only a small percentage of people that watch my videos are actually subscribed. So if you end up liking this video, consider subscribing. It's free, and you can always unsubscribe.
I hate conspiracy theories that run amok. But you know, a former CIA director is the one who came up with the term conspiracy theory. And it was a way for the CIA to discredit people by making them sound like crazy people, when in fact, there was such a thing called MKL. There was such a thing called, Operation Grasshopper or MK Chickwave. The CIA did crazy stuff from roughly 1952 to 1975. For example, they experimented with a virus that they released in San Francisco. They waited for an unusually foggy, heavily foggy day. They released it into the atmosphere just to see if it would make people sick. And 11 people went to the emergency room with this rare upper respiratory infection. And then they were like, high fives. Yeah, it works. And then they started experimenting with LSD. LSD was a big thing at the CIA in the early days. So I was there for 2 weeks. I found the families. First of all, I hired a security team on my own, which was kind of funny because I hired them from Washington. They said, where are you going to stay? And I said, I'm not sure. I'm trying to find a little guest house. And they said, well, the Intercontinental Hotel is the best hotel in the city. It's not great, but it's the best. And I said, no, look, if all the Westerners are staying at the Intercontinental Hotel, which hotel are they going to blow up? The Intercontinental Hotel.
They blew it up while I was there.
Oh my God. Well, I was on the balcony. I was like, good Lord, what was that? And then the security guy, it was this British security team, mercenaries is what they were. He's like, stay and do inside the hotel room, close the curtains. I said, what was that?
He said it was the Intercontinental Hotel. I said, I told you they were going to blow it up.
Same thing happened to me in Islamabad. The first night I was there, they put me in the Marriott. I said, are you insane? I'm not staying in the Marriott.
They blew it up, killed 45 people, and you were gone. I was in a 16-room guest house called the Jacaranda Blossom, where I was perfectly safe, thank you very much.
That's just the fact of it. That's what makes us interesting to them.
I have no... But how is it different then for the myriad of intelligence officers who sell themselves out to corporate media?
There's at least
a difference.
The primary difference is that they're not giving our adversaries an advantage by the connection to their affiliation with a government agency.
Well, what advantage, though, am I giving?
Yeah, this is one of these incidents that leads to PTSD. When my family and I first arrived in Athens, the embassy put us up in an apartment because they hadn't yet gotten a house. I went sort of out of cycle. Most people go summer to summer, and I arrived a couple of months in. So they needed to go out and find a house. So we're in this apartment, and then they finally find us a house, and we're moving all our stuff up to the house. The embassy has a truck for most of our boxes, and then my wife was in a car, and I was in my armored car. And I had just bought a TV at the PX. It was a big one. It took up the whole back seat. Not big like we have today, but, this is 25 years ago. So it was pretty big. It took up the whole seat. So I'm driving up the same Kifisias Avenue, and there's a motorcyclist, and he's trying really hard to stay in my blind spot. And I thought, that's kind of odd. So I speed up and he speeds up. I slow down, he slows down. I move over a lane, he moves over a lane. My wife calls me. She's in the car ahead of me. And she says, do you see this guy? And I said, yeah, I'm starting to get nervous. And she said, you don't think it's 17 November? And I said, they can't possibly be on me yet. I said, I don't know what this guy's doing. And she said, are you nervous? I said, yeah, nervous enough that I think I'm going to hit him. I'm going to try to hit him. And she said, okay. So I hung up and I sped up and he sped up, and then I slammed my brakes as hard as I could and I swerved right to hit him, and I barely missed him. So we did this a couple of times. And then there's this enormous intersection.
I remember saying, who?
And who was Osama bin Laden, and what was his intention?
The bin Laden family is a very honorable, very highly respected family. Dozens of them live permanently in the United States. They have billions and billions of dollars, and they have made that money through bin Laden Industries. So Osama bin Laden, who had vacationed as a teenager in the United States and all over Western Europe and was very Americanized, self-radicalized after the Soviet Union invaded Afghanistan in 1979. He went to Afghanistan in the late 1980s to fight the Soviets. He was the only member of his family that self-radicalized. Everybody else, lived the good life in France, in the UK, and in the United States. And so he came up on our radar as somebody who was potentially dangerous. I sat next to a guy when I first got hired. And in the summer of 1990, he wrote a paper saying that he believed Osama bin Laden was the most dangerous man in the world. And I remember saying, who? I never heard of this guy. And he said, buddy, this is one bad guy. Watch and see. I never met anybody at the CIA who was pro-Israel. Never.
Not one.
Not a single person. No, not a single person. And it's because they make it so hard to like them. If we're supposed to be their best friends, we have this special relationship. Well, I'll tell you the same story I told Danny Jones. I worked with this guy for years, and he married a woman in the office. Really terrific people, both of them. Terrific people. And when I was going out to Bahrain on my rotation to the State Department, the wife was going out to Jerusalem because she got the same rotation to the State Department. So, because she had worked with the Israelis for many years, the station decided to declare the two of them to the Israelis. So they land and they go straight to Mossad, and the chief said, these are my officers. She's on rotation to the State Department, and he's just going to study Arabic at the University of Tel Aviv. Right? No harm. So they're there for a little while. They go to a party at the ambassador's residence, and they come home, and all of their living room furniture had been rearranged. And they were like, not cool. But this is what the Israelis do. They break in the house, they rearrange all your furniture just to say, fuck you, we can do anything we want. So they're there, working, months pass, they're having a good time. They go to the ambassador's Christmas party. Now, they're living in Jerusalem. The embassy at the time was in Tel Aviv. And so it's about a 30 or 40-minute drive to get from one city to the other. They come home at the end of the party, and people had taken shits in all of their toilets in their house. Every toilet had shit in it. Not cool. They're not doing anything. They're not working against the Israelis. They're just doing normal stuff. He's studying Arabic. She's just in the embassy's, economic section.
How do you control people who don't actually work for you? You can't. And you risk them going rogue, which of course they do, because it's their nature. If you're being contracted to run an assassination program, you're gonna go out there and assassinate people. Well, everybody's human, and you make mistakes.
And you convince yourself that,
Ahmed Schmachmed is a really bad guy.
and actually,
Nah, it's a cousin with a similar name, but you just put a bullet in this guy's head. Okay.
you write a check for $100,000
To his widow and just move on.
And that's not cool. It's a crime. You can't just go around murdering people because you think they might be a bad guy. And so, Panetta,
I never really liked Panetta.
Just because he's not a nice guy.
But Panetta was right to shut that down.
Okay, so, what are the legalities then of a Blackwater team going out to hit somebody as if a Ground Branch team would? Is it like, I think Title 10, Title 50? Right. One's military, one's CIA, I can't remember.
There is literally nothing that I hate more than when I read in the comment section of a podcast that I've done, once CIA, always CIA. That is the most intellectually lazy and retarded moronic thing a person could possibly say. I used to respond to that by saying, oh, okay, I'll tell Ed Snowden and Ray McGovern and the sons of Philip Agee that you think they're still in the CIA, you moron. I hate that.